Listen to Downtown Hot Radio on the air 24 hours a day and 7 days a week.
You're now tuned into the Real Rap Radio Show. I'm your host, Walil Archer on Downtown Hot Radio. I have a special guest with me. I have author Judith A Perkins. How are you today?
I am good, thank you.
My pleasure, my pleasure. So glad to have you today.
Thank you.
So let everybody know the title of your book.
My book is called Journey to the Pacific: One Man's Quest.
Nice. And how did you come up with that title?
I don't know. It just kind of came to me. My son helped me pick it out. I wrote the book, and it just seemed to be a natural title. The young man in my book wanted, his quest was to see the Pacific Ocean, and so it's all about his journey to be able to do that.
Okay. And how long did it take you to write the book?
About 2.5, 3 months.
Nice.
Not very long, really.
Okay. And tell us the inspiration behind the story of the book.
Well, when I was 80 years old, I realized that I was the last one in my line, oldest person alive. And I had many stories to tell of my ancestors. My great grandmother told me stories about growing up in Eastern Washington. And so I wrote a memoir. That was my first book. And then this book is loosely based on that story of my ancestors coming across the country and settling in Eastern Washington. I took a lot of license with this book, but the story is based on my family.
Okay. And how many chapters would you say is in the book?
14, 16.
Okay. 14 to 16. And
Yeah.
what chapter would you say is
No,
most? Oh,
I'm sorry. There's 23 chapters. There's more than I thought.
23 chapters.
Yeah.
And out of the 23 chapters, are there any chapters that's more memorable than others?
Probably the last one, when he actually sees the ocean. He
Okay.
sees the Pacific Ocean. He sees it at sunset. I don't know if you're familiar with the Oregon coast or not, but there's a town called Cannon Beach, and there's a huge monolith rock there called Haystack Rock, and that's what he sees. That's the picture on the front of the book, Haystack Rock, and he finally sees the ocean at sunset. He raises his hands with his fists in the air, and he actually sees it. And he's a grandfather by the time he sees it. So the book is from the time he left an orphanage in Illinois, where he was raised in the orphanage. He was 15 until he's a grandfather when he finally gets to see the ocean.
And how many characters do you have in the book?
Probably main characters, maybe 10. There's a lot of side characters, a doctor in the town, um, several different people that live in the town, the rancher, the blacksmith, the postman, or the postmaster, the general store owner. A lot of side characters, but the main characters are George and his wife and his 5 children, and eventually their spouses.
Okay. And tell us more about George.
George is the procrastinist. He is the protagonist, as I should say. He is born before the Civil War. His 2 older brothers and his father are killed in the war. When he's 2 years old, his mother couldn't handle him anymore, and she put him in an orphanage. He was raised in an orphanage. When he was 15, he ran away. He hopped a train. He worked his way across the country, walking, riding horses, um, um, as a hobo on a train. However he could get across to see the Pacific Ocean. He reaches Cheyenne. He meets his future wife and her family. They have children. He moves on to Portland, Oregon. He lives in Portland for a while, has a couple more children. Finally, he moves to a small town in eastern Washington, buys a hotel, and raises his family there.
And what do
And
you
the
want?
story is
Oh,
pretty much about him raising his family in the eastern Washington.
okay. And what were some of the challenges, if any, he faced raising his children there?
The times, this is the late 1800s. Food, money, being able to raise them in a Christian manner. The one thing about this book, there is no sex and there is no violence, just the normal violence that happens in everyday life, um, but nothing real drastic. Um, he just has a challenge in keeping his family together and making them all love each other. There's one oldest daughter who doesn't like people. She's one of the main characters in the book, and how she runs away from home, gets married, has a baby. Um, it's just being able to keep his family together and grounded.
Okay. Now, during writing this book, did you experience writer's block? And if so, how did you overcome it?
I did not in this book. In other books that I have written, I have, but in this one, it just seemed to come to me. Um, I would get up in the middle of the night because I had an idea, and I would sit and I would write, and I would write for 2 or 3 hours at a time. But everything just kind of came to me on this one. It wasn't a hard book to write.
Okay. So when you normally experience writer's block, how do you overcome it?
I sleep, I eat, I watch television, I crochet, I go shopping, I get my mind away from it as much as I possibly can. And then all of a sudden, something will come to me, and oh, I can do that with this character. And then I go back and rewrite. I've rewritten a lot. And the book I'm writing right now is I've rewritten quite a lot, because I am blocked, and then I think, oh no, this has to happen with this character differently than what I'd written. So it's a challenge,
Okay.
but I don't give up on it.
Nice. And what do you want the readers to take away from reading this book?
That you never give up, that if you have a dream, follow that dream. Um, do what you have to do to live your life, but keep that dream in mind and never give up on it. Um, I was 80 years old before I started to write. I never thought I could write. And now it's like I'm never going to give up on it. I'm just keep going. There's other ideas that come to mind that I can write about, and I am.
Now, what inspired you to start writing books?
The fact that I realized that I was the last in my line, and I had all of these stories which were my history, my family's history, and if I didn't write them down, my children would not know their history.
Oh.
So I started writing, and originally I was just going to spiral bind it and give it to my boys for their information. But they convinced me, and my husband convinced me, that I should just keep writing and write stories about when I was young and when I met my husband and how we lived our lives and how we traveled and had raised our boys. And so I did, and then they convinced me that I should have it published. And so I did. And that's kind of where I started. Then that book was the inspiration for the Journey to the Pacific.
Okay. So is this your first book?
No, I've written, the first book was the memoir. That's called Life and
Gotcha.
Love Continue. This is the second one, Journey to the Pacific, One Man's Quest. And then I have written a sequel to that called The Emancipation of William Jones Jr. He was, at the end of the Journey to the Pacific, William Jones Jr. was George's grandson, is George's grandson, and he was born right at the end of the book, Journey.
Okay. Any advice that you would give to an inspiring author?
Just keep writing. If you have something to say, if you have something to write, a story, a family history, that's the way I started, with my family history. And that was important for me. If anybody, if they have a story to write it down. My first book, I wrote the whole thing, and then I realized, oh gee, I need to type that out.
Mm,
I am not real computer savvy, so I wasn't raised with computers. So I have a very computer savvy son and grandson that helped me out a lot. But just keep going, keep do it. Never give up.
who designed your book cover?
Well, I did. I knew what I wanted on it. The publisher, Reader's Magnet, actually designed it. But I told them what I wanted on it. I wanted the picture of, they call it Haystack Rock at Cannon Beach. I wanted a silhouette of the man with his hands up in the air, like I finally made it. And I wanted it at sunset because it's absolutely beautiful down there at sunset.
Nice. And where can they find your book at online? Where can they purchase your book?
Journey to the Pacific and Emancipation and Life and Love are all on Amazon. They are on Barnes and Noble through their ebooks, and they're available through Reader's Magnet, the publisher. And they're, like I said, they're all on Amazon. So I do have a website, and it's all written down on my website, judithaperkins.com. And I try to update that quite often and talk about the different things that are happening as far as the writing. They are doing at this time on Journey to the Pacific. I am having a screenplay written,
Hmm.
and they're doing a trailer of it. So hopefully it will be pitched to producers, and maybe something will happen as far as a TV show or a movie or something. So
Le-
we're hoping.
Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now, how did you come to change it to or convert it over to a stage play? Who idea was that?
I was contacted by a company in Vancouver, British Columbia, Explora Books, and they had read the book,
Hmm.
read the review of the book, and they were interested in adapting it to a screenplay. So they're the ones that I talked to for quite a bit, and finally decided to, yes, we'd go ahead and have a screenplay written. They wanted to do the trailer, which they kind of have to go together, a screenplay and a trailer, to do an effective pitch to a producer.
Correct.
So we're doing both of those, and we'll see what happens. I'm hoping they say they should be done by the end of the year. So we're hoping something will happen.
Any plans to play any characters in the
Oh
stage play?
no, 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 no,
No.
no. No, I will next month I will be 83 years old. And
Wow.
I think I'm a little bit old to do that. So I will leave that to the professionals.
I heard that. I didn't know if he was going to get a small role in it or not.
No, I have a niece that sent a message on Facebook when I posted that this was a screenplay was written, and she says, "Now don't forget your relatives."
Nice. So as we begin to close out, any final thoughts or closing remarks?
Well, just that I hope that people enjoy the books. I appreciate the opportunity to talk about them in this manner. I appreciate you asking me on. I just want people to remember that if they have a story to tell, tell it. It is most important to your family, to the history of your family, to get things written down. It just it's very important, and just to never give up.
So true, so true. Well, I'd like to thank you for doing the interview today.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. So that's my time today on the Real Rap Radio Show. So I'll see you guys next time on the Real Rap Radio Show with Walil Archer on Downtown Hot Radio. Thanks, guys.
Listen to Downtown Hot Radio on the air 24 hours a day and 7 days a week. Tune in by downloading the Downtown Hot Radio's mobile app. Listen on our website, www.downtownhotradio.com.